Hello, Todd Clemens, Okeechobee Livestock Market, and here's your weekly market report. We had a pretty steady week this week with 750 head or so Monday and Tuesday, and that compares to last year, about identical same head count this time last year. Numbers are holding up pretty steady for the year so far through the first 2 months and halfway through March now. And prices are still at just really, really high levels, almost all-time record high levels. We've seen the box beef prices on the retail side of beef come all the way back up from the low $3 to I think it's up over $3.20 now. So there's been a rebound in the box beef prices, which I think that means that retail levels, consumers are still buying that beef, even though we're not sure where it comes from. We'd like to know that. So get on board the Labeling Act so we'll know where that meat comes from. That'd be great. Cattle numbers are down. Runs are slowing up all around the state. It's that time of year. But like I said, prices are still good. I think the weather's improved a lot in parts of the country where supply chains for cows have opened up. I don't think there's any winter weather events going on right now, so there's a lot of cows coming to town, putting a little bit of pressure on the cow market. Cows were off probably $3 to $5 this week, even though we had a pretty good run of cows and a lot of really good cows showed up. I remember seeing one, for instance, Dennis Coulter had some really good cows in here. 7-Eleven had some good cows in here as usual. Those cows are still bringing up there in the 150s. That's on those big 12 to 1400 pound beef cows. The dairy cows are selling good. We had quite a few dairy cows come in here. I saw Bill Berman come in and pick his check up today and had a smile on his face, which is quite regular. Pretty nice guy there. But yeah, the dairy cows are selling good. The beef cows are, even though they're off a little bit, they're still selling up there at a really high level. Bulls, it seemed like they were just as high as they were. Remember last week we had that $2.13 bull, and this week we had one that brought $2.10, and he was really muscled up, kind of a Charolais cross bull, had a huge neck and a lot of meat, not a lot of waist on him, and I think he weighed about 1800 and brought about 210, which is really, really good. Calves were fairly steady on Monday, and looked like to me they were selling it at a really, really high level. I think they were just quoted fairly steady, but Tuesday was off a little bit, and I don't know if that had to do with quality or just the market in general, but calves were off a little bit on Tuesday and fairly steady on Monday, even though prices are still really good. And I saw where some of the calves, just doing some figures on some of the people's calves that sold, they're still bringing $1,500 on those 3-weight calves, and that's pretty good money. I had some 5-weight calves bringing up there around $330, $340 a pound on those front end steers. Saw a few 6-weight steers, which we don't see that many of right now. It's mostly little calves, but I did see a few 6-weight good number one steers bringing up there around $3 to $310, and that's not too shabby either. Those good replacement heifers, when you see them come through here, there are not many of them, but they'll bring what steers are bringing, pretty sure. Those Brangus type little black Brangus heifers coming in there weighing around 500 pounds they'll bring that 330 or 340. 6-weight heifers will bring up there around $3 a pound. So we don't see a lot of those good replacement heifers, but when they come through here, they're ringing a bell. They're doing good. Let's see what else is going on. Yeah, there's just so much. The Dow, you've seen the stock market kind of go down a lot. I know today's Wednesday. I think maybe Friday, Monday, and Tuesday, that thing was off maybe 1,200 points or so. The last time I saw it was trading a little over 41,000. but it had been going up so rapidly, and just seemed like every day you turned around since the election and the new administration has been in here, the Dow had been going up, and then all of a sudden there's a lot of profit taken, and people, I don't know, just kind of speculating or what, but the Dow's been off, and I think there's a little bit of uncertainty. You know, if you turn on the TV and happen to watch the news, which I don't try to look at that a whole lot, but and you have to kind of keep up with what's going on. But it's all about tariffs and Canada, Mexico, Ukraine and Russia trying to work out some deal. The tariffs, every time we hear that we're going to put a tariff on a country, they retaliate with whatever they're going to do. And it's, you know, if things will settle down and it's just, let's all do business and try to get this thing straightened around and make it fair and equal opportunity for everybody, so we can all get along, because that's what we have to do, especially our neighbors. And you know, it just kind of seems like right now there's not a whole lot of countries that are just really tickled to death with the United States of America. But hey, you know, we're trying to set our boundaries too, and make America great again, and let's do business with America and the United States, and try to keep everything we can, born, raised, harvested, made in the USA, which is good for our country. But still, we've got to do some business with other countries. And but the thing about that is that products made from everywhere else, the standards aren't near as high as ours. I don't think it is. I don't think labor costs are as much. You look at the produce that's made in, take Mexico for example. They can use chemicals, pesticides, a lot of things that our EPA and the FDA will not allow in the U.S. and these other countries, can make things so much cheaper. Their labor's cheaper. They don't have all the employment laws that we do. They don't have a lot of the restrictions on things that they do. So it's a lot cheaper for them to manufacture and make things in other countries. But then you'd think, well, the standard is lower, and does it equal, and is it comparable to what we have in the U.S.? So take all that into consideration. You get what you pay for sometimes, and it's better to do business here if we can. Even though you got to pay a little bit more, it stays in the country. So enough about that. Let's see what else. The slaughter, feedlot cattle coming out. They're processing below 600,000 head, which is pretty normal this time of year. I think they're down there to around 580,000 head will be processed through the fed cattle and the slaughter cows and bulls. That all add up to that. But the majority of those cattle are coming out of the feedlots. And things are holding on pretty good. Packers are still not making any money. They've cut their process and their kill rates down to a minimum, and boxed beef prices, as I said, are higher. So they're trying to work their way out of the losing end of it and trying to get more profitable. But it's looking like this market with the fundamentals, it's going to stay good. Heifer retention hasn't happened. The cow herd is as low as it's ever been. Way back in the 60s, I guess. We've slaughtered so many cows, and for drought reasons or economical reasons or land development, the cow herd is just lower now in the U.S. and it just looks like it's going to be that way for a while. And as long as beef demand is up and good and supply stays the way it is, I would say that these calf prices are going to hold on. And that's the question that people are asking, you know, when should I sell my calves, and what should I do? And I don't, you know, whatever you do, it's going to be hard to go wrong. It's just whatever suits your deal the best. But I know there's going to be some cattle sold earlier. There'll be some cattle sold in April that are usually sold in May, and maybe some cattle sold in May that are normally sold in June. And we usually have that big producers cattle auction sale in Marco there in June. And when we get that far down the road, we may not have a whole lot of cattle left to sell as people take advantage of the price levels that are there right now, and who's to say that it couldn't even be a little bit higher later on. So that's your choice, and whatever you decide to do, it's going to work out pretty good for you, looks like. So that's the good news. Around here, it's a good time to be selling cattle. Even though there's not as many of them around, we appreciate your business, and we have some high prices we'd like to tell you about. Square M Ranch from Orlando topped the calf market with a 190-pound calf that brought $5.90. And that calf was bought by Cracker. And on the cow side, as the aforementioned 7-Eleven Ranch sells here almost every week with some really, really good cows. 7-Eleven right there in Kenansville, just north of us up here, topped the cow market with a 1,415-pound cow that brought $1.67. That cow was bought by Florida Beef. That's some pretty good high prices for the week. I want to thank Matt and Sam for doing the market report last week. I thought they did a good job. Appreciate that. Thank you, guys. And next week we will not have a report. We're going to take the week off. We got some dusting and cleaning and things to do, and it may be spring break or something, but we'll be back with you in a couple of weeks. We appreciate you tuning in. Thank you for your business. Thumbs up. We're going to tell you what we think. It could be right or wrong, but we're going to tell you what we think. That's it. We appreciate you. See you in a couple of weeks.